am down, and oh, my soul so weary. When troubles come, and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. When I am on your shoulders, you raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
On behalf of Kimberly and the family, I want to welcome you and thank you for coming today to be a part of this time of celebrating Jay's life, but celebrating through tears because it is a sad moment. But your presence here means a lot. It means a lot because your being here is already a beautiful eulogy for Jay. Just your presence probably says more about him than my words can say about him, so thank you very much for coming. And we have these beautiful flowers, so appropriate at a time like this. They remind us that even though life does have its sorrows and its losses and its tragedies, life is still beautiful nonetheless. And I hope and pray for you in a after a time of healing, that life will be beautiful again for you. And you know the flowers have a special beauty, and that is what was in the hearts of the people who sent them. That is even more beautiful than the flowers themselves. So if you sent them, thank you. I should like to begin with a portion of a psalm that seemed to me might fit Jay's life and his interest, and I hope you find it helpful. It's Psalm 24. The earth is the Lord's and all its fullness, the world and those who dwell therein. For he has founded it upon the seas and established it upon the waters. Who may ascend into the hill of the Lord, or who may stand in his holy place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart, who has not lifted up his soul to an idol, nor sworn deceitfully, he shall receive blessing from the Lord and righteousness from the God of his salvation. I think when you think of Jay, you must think of a man with clean hands and a pure heart. As I said, I know that you grieve the end of this long, painful struggle of his, but at the same time we want to celebrate his freedom. He's now free from that. And so it's a time both of tears and laughter as we try to remember Jay's life. I do know how painful it is watching somebody decline over a number of years. None of us are prepared for death, but if it happens suddenly without a long sickness, it's much better, isn't it? Than dying slowly. You lose a person a little at a time, and you have to adjust to that over and over again. It's such a painful experience. And I know all of you will miss his joyful, happy, loving presence. I know that you appreciated him and enjoyed just being a part of his life. Some part of Jay's life will live on. It will live on in the memories you have. Our loved ones we have lost show up again, don't they? They show up in our memories. And it's a comfort when they do show up in our memories. It makes it real again. And he will show up, I know, in your memories. There is what I have noticed or called the grief of regret. The only way I can explain that is to talk about myself. Here's what I do. I wish I'd have said, I wish I hadn't have said, I wish I had done. I wish I hadn't done, and on I go. Because no relationship is perfect, and you can find something that could have been better. And so we all have a temptation to put ourselves through this at a time like this. And if you are doing that, I can only say to you, welcome to the human family. You're a part of us, because that's the way life is. And also, if I may be personal, I'd like to point out that there's something that's called survivor's guilt. Survivor's guilt is the person who is left feel guilty because they're still alive and the other person isn't. And it affects people this way. They don't believe they have a right to be happy again because they feel like it's a betrayal of the person they've lost. And it's well established as a survivor's guilt. And I bring it up just to say, try not to fall into that, especially you, Kimberly. Jay would want you to be happy again whenever you can be. So if you when you start feeling a little better and start getting over this and start enjoying life a bit, just be grateful. Don't punish yourself with that. That was a free sermon thrown in for no extra cost. A word about tears. I think tears at a moment like this are just beautiful pearls. They are beautiful pearls offered out of love and appreciation. So welcome your tears. Don't be ashamed of them. Look on them as something beautiful, something that is offered out of love and appreciation. I think that's the way we should feel about our tears at a moment like this. We're here also for comfort. I believe the comfort of God comes in many different ways. There is comfort in Jay's early life, his faith. He was a member of the Episcopal Church in Nuevo, and Kimberly said he was the godfather for a lot of kids over the years. And we celebrate that and find comfort in that. There's great comfort in knowing that his decline is over. 10 years is a long, long trip. Now he's free from that, and there's comfort in knowing that that is over for him. There is comfort in the loving care that Jay received from Kimberly, and for family and friends who helped. Just knowing that he had such loving care is a comfort at this time and will be in the future. And also there's great comfort in knowing that Jay lived a good life, didn't he? The last 10 years weren't so good, but the rest of it was a life full of activity and enjoyment and pleasure and friends. And so we find comfort in knowing that he wasn't cheated. He didn't miss something in life. He had most of the blessings that life affords us at one time or another. There's also comfort because you have each other, and you will be a great source of strength and comfort to each other as you support each other in this time of loss. I believe that life itself is healing. By that I mean just what we have to do, live, go forward is healing. We have jobs, we have challenges, we have opportunities. All of these things call us away from sorrow a bit and occupy our minds with something else. And life itself will be healing. Well, I said we were here to remember and honor and celebrate Jay's life. And we're going to begin that. Some of the family have something to say. I think Troy wants to go first. Troy?
Well, good morning. Kim told me to try to keep this light and friendly, and I'm going to try to do that to the best of my ability. My name is Troy Moulton, and I am, by all means, the oldest of the nephews, I believe, at least on our side of the family. So I just want to go ahead and welcome everybody, and I echo your sentiments on this being a celebration to Jay's life today. And I do a lot of speaking in my work, and I am very comfortable with it, but today I had to have some cheater notes, so if you guys at least allow me to get through it, and I'd like to try to get through it without bringing out some of those beautiful pearls that you talked about earlier. So as I say a few words today, and I'll keep it somewhat short, but my Uncle Jay was my favorite uncle ever. And I say that not because I didn't have other great uncles. It's just Uncle Jay will always be my favorite uncle. And what's amazing to me, as you look around, and I know that we have tons of relatives and nieces and nephews, if you were to poll individually on the nieces and nephews here, they'll all tell you the same thing. Uncle Jay was their favorite. And what's more amazing, even so, is that everybody will tell you that Jay was their favorite. And if you ask each and every one of us again, you say, why was your favorite? Well, my Uncle Jay made each and every one of us feel like we were his favorite. And that's a unique trait that he had. And I could go on stories forever and ever, and I'll share a couple, not all of them, but furthermore, and that's just our family, and we do a lot of things in our family and had all kinds of memories and fun over the many years. But if you were to walk and talk to each and every one of you, I would almost bet that as friends and acquaintances and people that are here sharing in this celebration today, that you say the same thing, that Jay made you feel special. Bob, I know that as his best friend ever, you can echo that as well. So I asked myself as I put together some notes, why is Uncle Jay all of our favorites? Why? And I go through all the memories and I just think, well, because he was fun. He was the most fun guy that you'll ever meet, and you guys all know that. And I think about it, even when he was still working in the meat department, we were waiting for the fun because we knew that he was bringing something home that we were going to grill that night, and we were looking forward to it. So it didn't matter if we were cutting wood, raking leaves, playing basketball, throwing horseshoes, riding around in our Rangers, playing euchre, and I wrote this down, even watching the Lions game. We were having fun. Now, of course, the Lions, maybe alcohol was sometimes involved, but say that. I can't remember a time when we weren't having fun, at least when we weren't getting in trouble for having too much fun. And if you look at some of the pictures over there, you'll see what I referenced there. So how could Jay ever have much more fun than what we thought we had for years and years? Well, about 17 years ago, he met Kim. And she entered the picture. And 3 years later, he married the love of his life. And now we had a fun female ambassador to the family. Because Kim took over that role, and she stirred up the female side, because the male side of our family never, ever, ever had a problem with having fun. Trust me, there's hundreds and hundreds of stories. But now we have the fun ambassador, and that's Kim, and thank you for coming into our lives, and thank you for everything you've done. I could stand up here for hours telling you stories about the crazy things we did and the places we went and the things that we considered fun. But I don't think we all have that much time today. So I know Jay loved doing many things with all of us, and I just tried to jot down just a few blurbs of things that I know that were important to him that he would want me to mention. First of all, Jay loved hunting with his buddies. He loved hunting with Tombstone. They went out west hunting mule deer and elk, and I tell you, Bob, I can almost tell you the stories because I know them so well, and I know how much that meant to him. He lived with my parents on Sylvan Lake for years, and my dad and Jay loved to go fishing and have a manhui and come back and sit with my mom and everyone in the hot tub. And that was not just a weekly event, that was came more often than that, I'm sure. He loved catering, grilling, cooking, and anything to do with food with my brother Trent. Very, very, very into their catering and business, but yet on the side we always had the best meals and cookouts at our family property up by Hardy Dam that anyone could ever have. He loved planning and organizing the next family gathering with my sister Tracy, figuring out the menu, what we're going to do, where it was going to be, what time it was going to be at. Jay was involved in all of that. He loved any activity that we did at Hardy Dam at our property. We waited. I told stories to Sandy coming here today about how he waited. Everyone would wait to see what time Jay was going to be there. Everyone was set up in their trailers and motorhomes, and we just wanted Jay to pull in his little burgundy bravada and figure out what kind of things that he said that he picked up off the floor in the back room today. So we were the beneficiary of those. He loved bowling. I know that I didn't participate in bowling. I think I can count on one hand how many times I bowled, but I know Jay was an excellent bowler, and I know probably many of you experienced that with him over the years. He thought a lot of that. He loved hockey. He loved attending the Red Wings games. He always told me about that. I know Trent was involved with him, going back and forth to the Joe to watch the Red Wings play. He loved playing euchre with my dad as his partner. They cheated. Took us a long time to figure out that they could see the reflection off the window and see our hands. But he loved doing that. He loved getting involved in any sporting activity imaginable with his great nieces and nephews. And he was amazing. He was the most competitive person that I know you all know this, but he could do anything. He could throw horseshoes, he could throw washers, he could play darts, he would play pool, shoot a basket, and every time he made something amazing, he'd just simply look at everyone and he'd just say, "That's just routine, it's routine." So that was a very, very well-known statement in our family. He loved his dogs, his basset hounds, loved talking about him. I think I gave him one of his first basset hounds that ate his couch. So, on and on and on. Incredible memories for us, and again, to keep it in light of a celebration and what my uncle meant to us. I hope that gives you a flavor. I just need to take a second to acknowledge and thank a few people and organizations. First of all, and I just came involved in this and saw recently the involvement in Harbor Hospice and the comfort that they provided my uncle, and furthermore with the service that they did here a few weeks back. That meant a lot to Jay. I know Jay was living for that moment, and it meant a lot to all of us that day to be involved in that. So thank you very much. I'd like to thank his best friend Tombstone for sticking with my uncle his whole life. You were his best friend, and I know you meant a lot. You meant a lot to him, so thank you. I personally want to thank my sister Tracy on behalf of our family for all the knowledge and help that you provided Kim. I know Kim greatly appreciates that. Helping Kim through this journey, and it means a lot. You're truly a saint, and everybody knows it. Finally, this is the hard one. I want to thank Kim, and this is as light and airy as I can get on this, Kim. You're a saint beyond all saints, and we all know that. You've watched this truly amazing man fight his way through this entire disease. And I wouldn't say the last 10 years of his life were miserable, because I saw signs that he was truly happy and he loved all of us, everybody in this room. You took care of your soulmate, of only you being the one capable of doing that. And for that, our family thanks you. Never underestimate the amount of effort that took and what it meant to him. And until he understood that you were going to be okay, and we've had this conversation, he's looking down on us and the strength that you have to carry on your life, and that's what he wants you to do. Thank you, and God bless. So, thank you.
Troy, that was excellent. Thank you. We would have liked a few more details about the boys, but maybe later we can. Niece is going to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, Uncle Troy, I don't think I can compete with that one, but I'm Taryn, his great niece. I always think it's funny that I call him my great uncle because I think of him as my uncle. You know, when you think of great aunts and uncles, you think of people who maybe aren't so close to you. But for us, my siblings and all my cousins, he was our second dad, or, you know, everything to us. He's very close. So we love him a lot. And this is just a small snippet of how much we love him. I know I always loved Uncle Jay, and he was so close, and we're lucky we had him. But when I look and see how many people are in this room, I realize that I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people I have to share my love with. He is really important to us, and I can tell he was important to so many people. Uncle Jay, or I called him JJ all the time. I don't know where I got it from. We called him Jaybird. He had a lot of nicknames. Depends on the day or the time or what we were doing. He was always the person I wanted to be. He was always full of love, beer, and the best cut meat we could find. He taught my siblings and my cousins and I some of the best lessons we've ever had. There's so many that I can only sum it down to 3 that are really important. I feel like you guys should know. He was a family man, and he loved all of our get-togethers. A lot of the lessons we've learned came from those get-togethers. The first lesson, which he might find the most important, was that whatever happens at the casino has to stay at the casino. You may be thinking, who brings children to a casino? Well, you guessed it right. It was Uncle Jay. He brought us to the casino. But it's not an ordinary casino. He built this casino. It was his travel trailer, and at night, it changed from his sleeping quarters to the casino. The adults would all pile into the trailer and drink and play cards, but we were lucky Uncle Jay let us come into that casino. We learned a lot of things in the casino. We can't tell you all of them, obviously, because he's still here watching us, and if we say it, something bad's going to happen, I know. So, you know, through some choice words, some beers, and some sneaky card playing, cheating, you know, he taught us the importance of how humor and family go together. The second lesson we learned was that you'll never win in bowling, not on the lanes and not on the Wii. When the Wii console came out, we all got one. We brought it to our family Christmas. We were teaching him how to play it, thinking, yeah, we're good, it's technology, he's older, he's not going to get this. We were really wrong. He beat us every single time. We would get mad and yell, and he'd just simply walk away, walk back to his seat, wait for us to do our turns. And so many times we'd be yelling, screaming, throwing the remote, and he'd just sit there calmly, knowing that he always won this game. And we couldn't win, and we thought we beat him with the new age technology. The third lesson that I learned was that you always have to buy the loudest toys and the most obnoxious toys, and always remember the batteries. He was the best gift giver, and we were so lucky to be on the receiving end. He bought crazy gifts, big gifts, loud, noisy, and he always made sure he brought the batteries. Because if our parents didn't have batteries, he wanted to make sure that we could annoy them right away so they didn't have a chance to get away from it. I remember coming with these gifts, and